I heard a quote today on a podcast. It's really an amazing podcast. If you've never seen or heard the podcast, Bialik's breakdown, I very much encourage everyone to tune into it. And I was watching it today for a little bit, and one of the things that resonated with me was a quote that said, "A good way to lose what you do have is to focus on the things that you don't have." And that was like, that is so true. I mean, um, I spent so much of my life focusing on a lot of the things, negative things. And I'm not anywhere like that today. I, you know, time is short, life is short, and we just have such an amazing life, even though times are tough right now. I mean, everywhere you go, there's suffering. There's somebody else that's affected by COVID or by job loss or by um, economic hardship, um, not being able to see family. I mean, in all of my lifetime, I don't ever remember anything like this. It's different for everybody right now. So, but with that said, I still, you know, because everywhere you look, there's heartache and there's pain, and it's sensitive for everybody right now, regardless of who you are. Yesterday, I had a situation, and I just wanted to touch on that a little bit more on the other side of this. Yesterday, my son and I had to go to the doctor because we both have sinus infections. Mine is a little bit different, but his is just full force. I mean, he's just constantly dealing with this, and I'm sure he does have allergies, and that's probably the next step with this is to go to an ear, nose, and throat because it's just constant with him. And he's only 5, and he just seems miserable a lot of the times, regardless of what medicines we give him or antibiotics we've given him in the past or whatever. So, anyway, long story short, we couldn't get into the doctor, so I said to him, you know what? We both need to see somebody, so let's just both go to urgent care. We go to the urgent care, and I mean, there was a line of like 20 people ahead of us. I mean, it was like standing room only in that place. It was a small place, and everywhere that you looked, there was hurting. People were obviously sick or they wouldn't have been there. But we did our I want to just back up a sec. Before we even got in there, I was very sad over something that I saw. And when you look at something, you can see the good in something, the bad in something. You can see all aspects of it. And there's something, and I'm sure that it's just not an autistic thing. A lot of people think that people that are autistic don't have empathy, which I always say that it's the exact opposite of that because it truly is. We are super sensitive to others and their feelings, and almost to the point where it hurts, it magnifies what we see, the pain. And so there was an older couple, I would say upper 80s. I mean, they were really up there in age. She had a cane. She was barely able to walk. He was definitely hard of hearing. She was trying to help him understand what they were supposed to do, and I'm not sure even she knew what she was supposed to do. But they were waiting in line a long time, and that alone I felt really horrible for them that they were doing that. They would take turns sitting and go back in place. And when they got done, or she said to him, you need your driver's license. And so, and he couldn't understand. So she's repeating, and then he's trying to get it. And then they get closer, and she's like, we need our insurance card too. She just said that we're going to need our insurance card. So they're digging for that. And then something falls, and he's trying to pick it up. And there were like 3 people between me and them, and I was trying to get around them so I could help him because I don't know why nobody else noticed that he needed help, but nobody did. He did end up picking it up, and then they sat down. We checked in, all that, and then we're waiting, and they come out and they call his name. And he starts to go, they start to go in. And the lady says to him, the nurse or says, only one of you can come back. And she said, well, he can't hear. And she said, he can't hear at all? Really? He can't hear? Because we have a policy right now that only one can come back. And she said, and she said, only he can. So, and she's like, he won't be able to hear you. And after a couple more exchanges, the nurse finally says, okay, fine. You can come back too, but this is not our policy. And I just thought, oh my gosh. Is that where we are? Where policy like that trumps caring for an elderly couple that have probably been married over 60 years. They are each other's support system in all ways. You could see that. She's his interpreter. He helps her walk. They were definitely, but no, policy. And I was just like, where has the heart gone in this? And I was so saddened by what I was watching. I almost started to cry in the waiting room as I saw this happening. And honestly, she would not have let him back or her back with her husband because they thought he had bronchitis, I honestly probably would have gotten kicked out with what I wanted to say. And then it took us 2 hours to go through our process because, as the one nurse said, the same nurse, she said, and I appreciate her because she said, I'm not, and I don't, I'm a patient. And she said, I'm not really even supposed to be here. I'm an x-ray technician. We had to close down one of our other centers. And this is supposed to, we have nobody to operate this place. We're so backed up and we're just pulling people in. I've worked 7 days this week and they're telling me I have to work Friday, but I have surgery that day. So I'm not able to. Nobody wants to work. We can't take care of all these people. and we're really struggling here. And I did feel for her. I mean, I could see everywhere that you looked. And then I go to the store and, I probably paid, I don't even, it felt like I paid at least $50 than I normally would for our necessities. Um, and then gas was more. And I was just, it was tough. I was everywhere you looked, you could see pain. And Christmas is coming up. And I know that there are a lot of people hurting. There's probably many, many families that aren't even able to provide the way that they used to for their kids. And I just kept trying to come back to the simplicity in life of how grateful I am for for my kids, for being for God, for being protected, for um, being provided for, and having a roof over our head, and food in our bellies, and presents to go under the tree, and for that couple that got to be together for that long and that they get to support each other and love each other, um, and show what true love is and stand up for each other, even regardless if somebody wants to say, I'm sorry, but you can't come back. She spoke up for him and herself and them, and I was proud of them, even at that age, that they had to fight for what was right. And I just want to go back to that quote: a good way to lose what you do have is to focus on the things that you don't. But I could see in those, you know, elderly, frail beings, even regardless of one not being able to hear, one not being able to walk really well, holding on to each other, and, sick, that they were still holding on to what mattered. And it was so beautiful to see. And I didn't know if anybody else in the room could see what I saw, but there was another quote that I heard that said to operate on courage rather than fear. And that's what I saw in them too. It was something really beautiful. And it's something that when I was younger, I absolutely did not do. I operated on fear probably every single moment of my life, for probably, I can't even tell you when I stopped. It was something that clicked in me that it took me so many years for me to learn how to not operate on fear and to operate on just to be, or say what's right, and not to worry so much about what other people are thinking about you. I mean, I used to be such a pleaser, I mean, if you were upset with me, I owned it. I mean, I felt as if, I was devastated if somebody, it, maybe they didn't even like a post, or, maybe, somebody even more closer to me, uh, thought I didn't do as good of a job as I knew I had. And, it would just my whole entire being would own it. And I would let others define me. I would let others, just change my perspective on who I was in the world around me. And I am not that person anymore. And I have said some things to some people that I've needed to say, and I've stood up in ways that I've needed to stand up. And that's hard as an autistic kid, teen, adult. But it is something that I have learned along the way, and I've had to practice, and I've just had to find the words within myself to be able to stand up for myself. But what I saw in that couple was absolutely beautiful, and there was so much that I could have seen, and I did seen the hurt and the negative that was going on during that situation. But I saw something more beautiful, and I just wanted to post this today because I think we all need more than what's out there right now. It truly is. Everybody's more upset with each other. You go and people just expect McDonald's lines, and I mean, it took us everywhere we went. The lines were longer because, instead of getting upset at the people that didn't show up to the work, we need to be nice to the people that did and that are serving us. So, people just need to chill. This is just our life now. It's different. And yes, I get that we live in a microwave world, a world where my kids just say, I want to watch this show, and we can watch it right now. I mean, when I grew up, you had to wait till Tuesday at 10 o'clock to watch a certain show if that's what you wanted, or Saturday morning cartoons. And that was the only time that you could watch that particular show. But this generation, everybody wants it and they want it now. People are mad because a line is too long for Dunkin' Donuts and it's affecting their trip on the road because it's going out and around on the actual road and it's affecting them. I mean, everybody is upset and angry. And instead of just thinking about the upside of everything and how people are trying to do their best, this is a difficult time. But there are so many ways of looking at things that I just challenge everybody, anybody that's watching this, to try to look at the opposite way of how you would have looked at it. Or if you're upset, or you're mad at the person in front of you, or you're mad at all the people that are sick in urgent care, which I wasn't, and I could have left, but I was like, to Levi, I was just like, well, we're going to have to be back here tomorrow or later, so it isn't going to change anything. And I was really proud of him because even he just handled himself. He was fine. We were fine. And we both got our medicine and we went on with our day. And I felt bad for the lady, the nurse. And, maybe she just needed to vent. Maybe she just needed to get it out because she's tired. And that made sense too. I mean, everybody is. It's just different. But Jesus truly is the reason why we celebrate Christmas. And even if you don't celebrate Christmas and you celebrate Hanukkah or another type of holiday or religion, what I learned when, in treatment is years and years ago is that, we all have a higher power. We all can find something greater than ourselves that we can worship and look to and be thankful for. And we all have things that we can be thankful for in our lives. And we just have to search. And I even saw it on that elderly couple. And I pray that they're okay, because I haven't stopped thinking about them. But I want everybody here, if you see this, to have a merry holiday season. Merry, and be thankful, and just think of one blessing that you can be thankful for. Be thankful that you have a car that can be in that line. Be thankful that you have the money to buy the donut. Be thankful that you were able to be in the doctor's office and wait for 2 hours for you to get the antibiotic. Just be grateful and be thankful to all who are trying to help. God bless. Again, ready? Do it.
1, 2, 3. Smash that like button.